So this is the entrance to the old city. This is what the wall looked like. You come up here and you can come through here and go into the old city. And it was all protected by these walls like this with the earthen dams like that, like that. That's how it was protected. It was protected. And oh man, they kept the architecture.
So here we are walking down George Street, and coming up after this yellow building on our right is going to be a gray building, which is the oldest wooden schoolhouse. It's located here at 14 St. George Street, and it appears that it was built somewhere around 1716, which is when it's first found in the tax records. They're not really sure exactly when it was. The schoolmaster and his family lived on the second floor here above the schoolhouse, and there apparently was a kitchen also located in the back.
This is the common building where they used to hold their common meetings, and it was also a bar.
Burgers, chicken, this might not be bad here.
Okay, so here we are at the Prohibition Kitchen. It's a great gastropub and restaurant.
It's actually located at 119 St. George Street, and there's some fun facts about it. One is, looking at this bar, is it boasts the longest bar in the city of St. Augustine. It also
has a great pretzel, as you see here.
Oh yeah.
It's really good food. They also have live entertainment from time to time. You can see they have lots of beer taps, and they make a hell of a good drink.
They actually renovated this bar using reclaimed materials from the original colonial structure.
So as you walk down St. George Street, you don't really realize that a lot of these houses had these courtyard areas in the back, kind of a Spanish architecture. So this is what a courtyard behind one of the houses would look like. And they've recreated this one. And then on the wall here, they actually put up, this is what the map of the old city of St. Augustine looked like during the colonial times.
And if you're like our son, this is a place to stop. Hot stuff, all different types of hot sauces.
So when you're walking around St. Augustine, one, be prepared for the crowds because there's a lot of people here. And the streets are narrow and there is a lot of walking around, but there's a ton of shopping. There's people on the sides of the street playing music. There's tons of food and bars.
And again, walking. Wear some good shoes because there's lots of really neat alleys and places to explore, lots of stores to go in. We didn't go in a lot of stores because we have in the past. We've been through a lot of them.
Here's she is at the donut.
Bagel and Nutella tastes like a chocolate chip pancake.
Ooh.
Really? Yeah, get it hot.
So this is one of the older graveyards in St. Augustine. They bring you here during the ghost tours and just scare you to death. So definitely, if you ever get a chance, take that ghost tour. It's really cool. I'm trying to make sure I'm not going to fall down here if I step on the puddle. So today it's locked up. You can't get inside. But there's graves in here clear back to the 1800s. It's kind of cool. Of course, if you're kind of a spooky freak like me, you really get into graveyards. See that graveyard over that gravestone over there? It says 1879. 1879. Man, that's a long time ago. Maybe he's still around here spooking us, huh?
So this cemetery is actually believed to be the most haunted cemetery in town and has about 436 deceased on site. There also are gravestones there dating back to over 200 years ago.
When you're inside the fort, definitely take advantage of the volunteers and the people that are there to help you with information and tell you.
There's so much people that love behind, and then you gotta once you find them, you can say.
We wanted to try to find and investigate who it belonged to, but we have no evidence.
Yeah, well, we do have evidence that belong to someone. Right?
So as you walk around the courtyard, there's plenty of volunteers and rangers there to explain information to you. There's also hands-on exhibits going on under the tent. It was a warm day while we were here, but there was just so much going on and so many people sharing information. It was just information overload. Alright, so from the top of the fort you can see the cannons there, and you can see Flagler College there behind me. I'll show you the other side where it looks out on the ocean. Beautiful. Now, according to the guides and the historians there, this side of the fort, the ocean side of the fort, was attacked the most often because the British would come down occasionally from Georgia and attack from this side, and the pirates would fire on it from this side. But what made it really bad is the British would shell the fort all day. Then at night, the Spanish would go out and pull the cannonballs out of the walls, heat them up, and then shoot them back at the British the next day. Talk about a kick in the butt. Look over and see no damage to the fort, not even see your cannonballs, and then they're shooting them back at you. this is the northeast side of the fort. So this is the side of the fort where they actually load and fire one of the cannons on Sundays so that you can get a realistic feel for how it sounded. It's pretty cool. This is the real cannon that they shoot on Sunday, usually around 12 noon. Now on the inland side of the fort, or the west side of the fort, it was all protected by smaller cannons and these mortars, which they could use to shoot lob the shells out there. Here's one of the mortars up close to give you an idea of what it looked like. Now it's from this side of the fort that the Spanish watched the British burn the entire city of St. Augustine to the ground. Must have been real heartfelt sorrow watching that happen. So it's with a heavy heart that we bid this fort farewell for today, the fort known as St. Michael to the British, and head back into the town of St. Augustine to see if we can find some cool drinks and something to eat. The food at Catch 27 was outstanding. The appetizers were just out of this world. I totally recommend it to anybody looking for a seafood meal inside the town of St. Augustine. Check out Catch 27. After our meal, we decided that we'd take a nice trolley ride instead of walking anymore. Definitely take the trolley ride if you want to learn something about the history. Listen as this guy explains about how
the epidemic broke out. Yellow fever comes from mosquitoes. In Almo, Florida, used to be a swampland. All this was swampland. Well, friends, there was a terrible yellow fever epidemic. It broke out in 1821 and killed a third of the population. Now we need some place to bury the folks. And they were on the right, the Huguenot Cemetery. You might say, preacher, that's only 93 graves. How can that be a third of the population? Well, I'm glad you asked. That is only 93 graves. Record, no other documents. Just the last person buried. Their names on the tombstone.
the yellow fever wiped out 3/4 of the population of St. Augustine, and if you look at the graveyard, there's only 93 graves. That's because they're mass graves, and they buried several bodies in every grave, and the last person that went into the grave, their name went onto the tombstone. I have no idea if it's true. Maybe that's why that's believed to be the most haunted graveyard in the city of St. Augustine. Huh? All those mass graves and nobody got a name. Okay, so now we're off to the St. Augustine distillery to taste the bourbon that's distilled here in St. Augustine. It's supposed to be pretty good. So we're inside the St. Augustine distillery. distilling area where they make the
Get your stuff. So next time we don't hold for it.
It tastes like 126 proof. It is going to smell like 126 proof. The tiki mix covers it up pretty well. Now in the mix is coconut cream, almond and vanilla extract, pineapple juice, and some nutmeg.
This contains all the ingredients you would typically use to make an old fashioned, but it's already muddled together for you for your convenience. So it's the orange peel, the sugars, bitters, and the spices. So you just pour it and go. And again, this is 88 proof, aged in new charred oak barrel for 3 years, a minimum of 3 years.
Rachel's signing up. She's going to make her own bottle of bourbon. The only way you can get this bourbon is out of this barrel, and the only people you get out of this barrel are when you draw it yourself, and we are going to be bottle number 88 out of this keg.
Barrel number 2158.
Here she's filling out her label or her bottle 88.
It's 110.8.
8,
That is 55.4% ABV.
54,
55.
54. Thank you. 4%.
And then today's date is the 31st, and then I'll let you know.
Sure.
So basically, it's really you're gonna take the cap off. You're gonna gently place it under like this, and it's like a gas pump. So you just hold it down, and when I'm gonna count you down to get to about here.
Okay.
When I get to 1, you just let it go.
Okay.
Don't push it back, no forward. And it's easy as that. You're getting it to work.
Does it pull out the stopper?
Yep.
Okay.
It's ready for you. 12.
Such a pretty bottle. Oh my gosh.
You're ready.
So I just hold it forward.
Just take a moment. Yep.
Alright. So it's still on that line, and then you'll tell me.
I'll start
I
counting
know.
down from 3. And then when I get to 20, just let go.
Okay.
Is this for any particular reason?
Oh, we just thought it would be fun. Or else you get to do your own bottling.
I think,
In like Kentucky, if
I
you want.
think Jim Beam does the same thing.
We're going to do that one time.
I don't know if Jack Daniels does it, but I've heard Jim Beam. I'm gonna close the valve up real quick. And actually just gonna pull from it once last week valve up. Just pull this one. Just gonna get one stuff in there. Alright. So yeah. Gently take it out. Yep. Then you're gonna pop that cork right back in. There you go. I bring it over here.
The last drop.
I've got a fun little science experiment for you before you do that.
Okay.
So hold out your hands like this, like all together. So give it a smell. There you go. It's gonna do this really fast, and then the next one, it's flat twice. Give it a smell.
Oh my gosh.
So we call this spuking. This is basically what's coming out of the stills. So that's what your bourbon is. Like if I take it out of this bottle, it's just going here because I can't get it to myself. So that just goes to show that about 70% of the color and the flavor is coming from these barrels.
How pretty that bottle is.
And it's just a fun little thing I like to show guys. Just to kind of show where it came from. So onto the label, I'm gonna get this
It's called barbecue.
Yeah. Just wait for it to cool down. So it's still says we don't want to jump. So I'm just gonna start with you. We recommend you put it above this little dented line, but it's your bottle, so wherever you want to put it.
Now you can pick it up, hold it, and smile. Hey, I have an extra bottle of this bourbon. Leave me a comment if you'd like to have it. I'll pick somebody from the comments.